Hi, hi. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's good to be back on Accelerate Your Career Growth webinar series. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for joining me today. It's just you and I today, and I'm so excited because of the topic that we're going to be talking about today. So, yes, I'm already sharing it so that you can see it. But before we go on, let's just take a short break and I'll be right back because, it's going to be a real conversation. I'm going to share real life experiences. I'm going to share the myths, the realities, and the winning strategies that I discovered by myself, that I read and I try to implement and I believe will help you to achieve the results that you desire. So I will be right back. Right. So it's good to be back on the Accelerate Your Career Growth webinar series. This is the seventh edition. Can you believe that this is number seven? We've been doing this 7 times since last year. So this is our seventh edition, and I'm so excited to be here this morning. It's raining here in Lagos. I don't know what the weather is like wherever you are, but it's good to be here. Thank God for life. And the topic for today, what we're going to be talking about today, is a very, very, very important topic. A lot of people don't take it seriously. I didn't take it seriously initially when I started my career, and I paid dearly for it. I can tell you that. So, and it's not talked about enough. I think that's the problem. People don't talk about it enough. People don't think it is something to be talked about. I think people just feel like you figure it out when you get there. You know what I mean? So, and this is me trying to pay it forward, right? I mean, nobody talked about it with me. Nobody gave me a heads up. So this is me giving you a heads up, paying it forward for those that are coming behind me, those that are in it right now, and that can really relate with the issues that I'm going to be raising, I'm going to be talking about today. And what is it that we're talking about today? Today we're going to be talking about office politics. I mean, like it or not, it exists. And so we're going to talk about the myths, the realities, and the winning strategies. Yes, there are winning strategies. Yes, there are a lot of myths about this very, very sensitive topic. And I'm going to share a bit some of the realities of this issue because it is real. It's going to be very foolhardy to pretend that it doesn't exist because it does. So I'm going to try to debunk some of the myths. I'm going to paint some pictures about the realities of this issue, and I'm going to try to share some strategies with you on how to navigate it as a professional. So, what are the myths about this thing called office politics? Or let's even start. What is office politics? You know, Initially for me, I thought office politics is evil, it's very devilish, like people, it's just for wicked people, people that like to do wicked things in the office, in the workplace, maybe because of my experience. That is evil, is demonic, like people are just wicked. It's the wicked people, wickedness in high places. That is what office politics is. But then, when you have conversations at home, you hear sometimes, especially with me and my siblings, maybe we're trying to deal with an issue, and maybe we've told my dad about it, and then we've spoken to my mom, and then my mom is trying to, parry some questions or evade some questions, or is just giving a very vague response. And then when me and my siblings are talking about it, you hear us say, mommy likes to play politics a lot. So, what am I saying? The politics is everywhere. This one that we are talking about and we don't like to talk about is just the one that takes place in the office. in the workplace. So anywhere there are human beings, like we're social creatures, we're social beings, so we're going to relate with ourselves in one way or form. So anywhere there are human beings, there is politics going on. Amongst you and your siblings, there is politics going on. Amongst you and your friends, there's politics going on. So don't ever think that it is something evil. It happens every day. You are consistently and constantly involved in it. There is one going on in your house between you and your child. If you already have children, between you and your child, there's a politics going on. Between you and your husband, there's a kind of politics going on. Between you and your friends, there's politics going on. So politics is everywhere. So the one that we're going to be talking about today is office politics, the kind of politics that goes on in the office. And the simple explanation for it for me is that it is those strategies people use to gain advantage in a workplace. So, in your relationship with your friend, what do you do to make your friend feel like they mean a lot to you? How do you get your dad to say yes to you when your mom has said no? At home? How do you get your eldest sibling to help you convince your dad or your mom to get you to do something that you've already asked them and they've said no? So it is those strategies people use to gain advantage. So now just situate those things you do amongst you and your friends, or those things that you do at home to get your parents or your siblings to do things for you, or to gain an advantage with your dad, or to get an advantage with your mom, or to get an advantage with an uncle or an aunt or your cousin. Now situate it in the workplace, right? And then you begin to understand what office politics is. So it is simply those strategies you use to gain advantage in a workplace. It is unavoidable. So no matter what your position is, if you're just starting, if you are mid-level, if you are sushi suit, it is unavoidable. You cannot avoid it. You can choose to bury your head in the sand like an ostrich, but if you are not playing the politics is going to play you. And it is not inherently negative. So you have to perish the thought that all forms of politics are evil, all forms of politics are negative. It can be used for good. You need to take yourself from that place where when you hear of it politics, all you think about is the negativity. You take yourself from that place and bring yourself to the place where you understand that just the same way you use some strategies to get your dad to say yes when your mom has said no, or you get your older sibling to get your mom to give you something that you've asked them and they've said no, you can use those strategies in the workplace to gain an advantage for yourself. So, office politics is simply about relationships, about the influence that you have, and how you can leverage those relationships and influence for your own good. So it is just those strategies that you use to gain advantage in the workplace. Those same strategies that you use at home with your siblings, those same strategies that you use with your friends. That's why one of your friends will most likely do some things for you that some of your friends will not do for you. Why? Because you have some level of influence over them, because your relationship with them is maybe closer, tighter, more intimate, right? You have done some things for that particular friend that you're not doing for all your friends. So you have some leverage with them, you have some influence with them, and that makes them do things for you that they will not ordinarily do for other people. And that is the same thing that happens in the workplace. So office politics is simply those strategies that you use to gain advantage in a workplace. It is unavoidable and it is not inherently negative. It can be used for good. So, what's the first myth that we're going to debunk today? The first myth I'm going to try to debunk is that it is only for manipulative people. Office politics is not for manipulative people again, alone rather. Remember what I just said. You try to gain advantage from your parents. I mean, if you say office politics is only for manipulative people, then if you're using the same strategies at home, then you are manipulating your parents or you're manipulating your sibling, or you're manipulating your friend, right? That means you're a manipulative friend or a manipulative child or a manipulative parent. Is that what it means? If you're saying office policy is only for manipulative people that just want to gain an advantage, and use it, and just bring the other person down, if that is what you're saying, if that is what you believe, then every other thing that you're doing to gain an advantage in your personal relationships with people, or with your relationships with your siblings, or your relationship with your parents, is manipulative. So you have to bust that myth. It is not only for manipulative people, it is for everybody. Everybody can use it. So you do not have to play dirty to succeed at Office Politics. You don't have to do that. You just have to build authentic relationships and trusts. So, in this thing called office politics, just the same way you have an authentic relationship with your friends, you build that relationship that is so tight, is so good that those people, those friends of yours can, go through hell and high water for you. All you have to tell them is, can you jump? And they ask you how high. They're not asking you why. They're not asking you, oh, are you sure you're okay? They're not thinking that you're trying to take advantage of them. They're just asking you, how high do you want us to jump? And it's because of the authenticity of the connection that you have built with them. It's because of the trust that you have built with them over time. Those are your greatest assets. So it is not for manipulative people, and you don't have to play dirty to succeed. All you need to do is to build authentic connections with your colleagues at work and build trust. Those are the assets that you need to be able to play office politics successfully. Those are the assets that you need to play politics in the office without being manipulative. Just build authentic relationships, authentic connections with your colleagues at work. The same way you're building relationships with your friends, the same kind of way you're investing in your relationship with your friend, the same way you're investing in your relationship with your siblings at home, the same way you're investing in your relationship with your parents, right? Make sure that the connections you have with your colleagues at work, with your superiors, your supervisor, your subordinates, the security man at the gate, the cleaner, the person that brings you your tea, let that connection be authentic, and let there be trust. Let there be trust. Those are the greatest assets that you have. What is the second myth that we have to debunk today? And that is that hard work speaks for itself. My goodness, I used to believe this, that no, I don't want to be involved in all this mess. Let me just do my work. My work will speak for me. Excuse me. Does your work have mouth? It is not a living thing, right? So it cannot speak. It is just your work. You have to do the speaking for your work. So it's not just going to be enough that you do good work or that you're a hard worker. How are people going to know that? Right? It's not going to be enough to be a hard worker. I know that from experience. I was a hard worker. I just used to do the work. I used to believe that, well, my work should speak for me. I don't have interest in all these things. I don't have to be friends with everybody at work. I mean, I didn't come here to make friends. I just came here to do my work. I know. I know you think like that. I've been there and I paid dearly for it. Yes, I was doing good work. My work was good. But did my work speak for itself? Absolutely not. So, if you work hard, it does not mean you automatically get noticed. Your work will not speak for you. You need to speak for your work. You need to position your work to be seen. You need to let people know that you did the work. Don't be that me, that version of me that always likes to, stay in the background. Yeah, I'm a team player. Let the team take credit. Excuse me. Yes, you were part of a team. Let the team take credit. But you see that part that you did in the work, speak about it. Let it be known that you did that part of the work. So if you work hard, you will not automatically get noticed or promoted. It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen like that. Yes, hard work is important. I am not demystifying that. I am not reducing the value of that. I am not saying don't work hard anymore. I am just saying do the work and make sure you speak for the work that you do. hard work is only a part of the equation. It is not the total package. It is not the only thing that will get you noticed and promoted. If that was it, a lot of people will be promoted. Immediately they do beautiful work. A lot of people will not be in the same position for so many years, and they will be wondering, why am I not getting promoted? I do good work. My work is good. My supervisor says my work is good. Are you saying your work is good? Are you talking about the work that you're doing? Who else knows that you're doing the work? So you need visibility and influence too. So work is just a part of the equation. You now need visibility and influence too. So it's not just about what you do, but who knows about what you do. If you are the only one that knows that you do great work, my dear, you're in for a long time, as my Gen Z friends will say. Don't keep the good work to yourself. Talk about your work. Let people know that you are the one that does the work. Let people know that you are a hard worker. It is not arrogance. Let people know that you are doing the work. Speak about it. So your hard work is important, but it's only a part of the equation. Don't be the silent operator. It does not pay. It doesn't. Your work does not have mouth. If you don't take credit for your work, somebody else will take credit for it. Somebody else will take credit for it. And then you see the person get promoted. You're angry. You are bitter. You are resentful. Excuse me. Why are you resentful? Did you take ownership of your work? Did you take credit for your work? So yes, your hard work is important, but it is only a part of the equation. You need visibility. You need influence. Who knows you in your office right now? Is it the people you share cubicle with? The people at your level? Are those the only people that know you? Does your supervisor know you? Does your team leader know you? And it's not, I'm just saying they know you by your face. Do they know that you are a hard worker? Do they know that you do good quality work? Do they know that? They are not, I don't know. I mean, they cannot read your mind. They have so many people they are supervising. You are not the only one in that workplace. So if you do not put yourself in their face, they're not going to notice you. So, yes, your hard work is important, but it is only a part of the equation. You need visibility and you need influence too. The third myth that we're going to try to demystify today is only C-suite people engage in office politics. In other words, it's only the top executives, the EDs, the managers, the assistant general managers, the assistant general manager, the deputy general managers. Those are the ones that engage in office politics. Oh my God, how wrong can you be? Politics happens at every level as long as you are dealing with human beings. And that's why I started with the example of your family. You are 4 siblings at home, and you realize that every time your sister asks your mom or your dad for something, she gets it. And every time you ask, you get a no. What do you think is going on? It's not because your dad or your mom loves your sister more than they love you. It is how much influence your sister has with your parents. That is speaking for her or him, right? It's the same way with you and your friends. You wonder how you can tell one friend to do one thing for you and the person goes without asking questions, and you have to convince and try to convince one person over and over again, right? That you want them to do something for you before they actually do it. You are wondering why that happens. It's very simple. It's the level of influence that you have over them. It's the connection that they have with you. If your connection is not tight, come on. I can't just ask you to do something for me at such late notice. In fact, for instance, today I was struggling with this, right? And I just sent a message to one of my mentees. I have a lot of them, but the connection I have with all of them is different. So I'm sending a message to him at like 30 minutes to go time here. And I'm like, Marv, I'm struggling. How am I going to do this? Can you join me in the studio right now? And immediately he joins me in the studio. We begin to, maneuver this stuff. We begin to, do it in different ways to get the kind of result that we desire. Can I ask this of someone else? Yes. But am I going to get that kind of response from the person? I don't think so. Why? Because of the connection that I have with him. So don't just sit there and think, oh, it's only people at the top, the GMs, the AGMs, the DGMs that do this thing. It starts from the bottom. You are an executive trainee. You have already started. You are dealing with people. How are you relating with your colleagues at work? What kind of connection do you have with your colleagues at work? Right? That person that you are on the same team, that person that you are giving the same task, how do you relate with them? What connection do you have with them? Can you ask them to maybe um take your place in a meeting or just stand in for you? Can you do that? Can you make that kind of request at short notice and they would not start asking questions or grumbling? Can you do that? Right? Can you ask them to do anything for you? Can you ask them to help you look at some work that you have done? If you cannot do that, then you don't have a connection. Then you don't have influence. Then it will be difficult for you to leverage that relationship to get any kind of advantage in the workplace. So don't think that it is only us at the top, that do those kind of things. No. Even at the top, the higher you go, the more serious it becomes, the more complicated the influence and the level of connection you have to have becomes. But if you don't learn how to do it from when you're just starting, it's going to be difficult for you to do that at mid-level or even at the top. You're going to really struggle because you're not used to it. And that's even if you get to those levels, right? So you have to understand that it is not just for the people at the top. It applies at all levels of your career in the workplace. So it is not only relevant at the top, it impacts everyone. It impacts everyone from entry level to C suite. So your career success, your career growth, ask me, I know, right? Depends on how you navigate all the relationships you have at every level of your career. So, how you move from entry level to mid level depends on how you manage your relationships at the entry level, not just with your peers, with the people in the middle and the people at the top. And you have to start now. You have to start working on it now. Build alliances. Just be kind to people. Do good deeds, right? Sow good seeds so that you can begin to harvest them at that level. And then when you get to the middle, begin to sow seeds of goodness, seeds of kindness, right? Just be kind to people, help them, offer them a favor. You know how to do something better than they do, teach them or offer to do it for them. Begin to sow those seeds, begin to nurture those relationships, begin to build those authentic connections, because it is not only relevant at the top, it starts from when you enter into the workplace and follows you all through to the top. So your success, your career success, your success as a professional depends on how you navigate all those relationships. Every relationship you have at all levels, including the cleaner that is coming to clean your table, the security man that you see at the gate, the person that brings your tea, all of them are important in the equation. So it is not just those people at the top that should bother themselves. So if anybody has told you, you know what, you're just starting, just relax, you don't have to start thinking about such things, I've come to tell you, please start thinking. Start thinking about it. It's part of the work. It's part of the work because you are going to consistently deal with people. You are not going to be alone in the workplace. You are going to work with people. You are going to deal with people every day. So you have to deliberately and intentionally begin to build authentic connections and relationships with people. Now, let's talk about the reality of office politics. I've tried to demystify three myths that I know that most people have been carrying around for God knows how long. But what's the reality of office politics? The truth is, office politics everywhere. And it's like I said, the politics is everywhere. It's in the homes, it's in our relationships with our friends, in our romantic relationships. The politics is there. As long as you're dealing with people, you will have to play politics. So office politics is everywhere. It is your relationship with the cleaner, your relationship with the security man, your relationship with your superior, your relationship with your line supervisor, your relationship with your colleagues, your peers. So the politics is everywhere. I have said it earlier, it is not inherently negative. It's not negative. There's nothing negative about it. It is how you play it that determines the color that you give it. If you play it with integrity and with your values intact and your beliefs intact, then it is not negative. It is not evil, it is not wicked, it is not diabolical, it is not manipulative. So it is the person that is playing the politics that determines, that gives color to the kind of politics that is being played. So office politics is everywhere. That is a reality that you have to recognize and begin to live with and begin to agree with and begin to, tell yourself every day, okay, it is here. I have to deal with it. It's not going to go away. I just have to find a way to make the most of it. So office politics exists in every company. And it's not just every organization, every place where there are people. So your church group, your church unit, there's politics there. It's everywhere. It's about the power dynamics, the informal networks. That's why some people will only talk to some people, right? Some people don't talk to everybody. Some people talk to everybody. Some people only talk to some people. Some people only share some things with some people. So it's about the power dynamics, the informal networks, the informal influence. Some people are there, they do not have titles, they do not have any kind of power, they do not have any kind of authority, but people just swam around them, people do what they ask, people, it's because they have influence, it's because they have some leverage, they have authentic connections with people. So office policies exist not just in every company, but everywhere there are people. It is in every company and it is at all levels. It is about the power dynamics. It is about the informal networks, the networks that are not written in your organogram. In the organogram, they'll tell you that the MD is at the top and then, the ETs and executive trainees and executive assistants are at the bottom. But you don't know those other connections that people have that are not on the organogram. So it's about those power dynamics, it's about those informal networks. And ignoring it can really hurt your career. Bury your head in the sand like an ostrich, like, well, this doesn't concern me. I just have to do my work, carry my bag and go home when it's time to go home. It's going to hurt your career. Mastering it can actually propel you forward in your career, can actually help you to accelerate your career growth. Pretending it does not exist does not help you. Pretending that it's not going to affect you is not going to help you, because it is actually a tool that you can use to your advantage. So I really encourage that. You just need to understand that you're already doing it. You're already playing some kind of politics. You are playing it with your relationships with your friends. You are playing it in your relationship with your siblings. You are playing it with your relationship with your parents or any other human being that you're having to deal with. So why not, situate those things that you do with other human beings in an office environment and just try to make the best of it. Use it for your advantage. So, office politics is a tool. Use it to your advantage. Don't believe the outcry that, oh, it is just manipulative, it is just wicked, it is just for ass lickers and bootlickers. No, it is a tool. Use it to your advantage. Then we come to this reality number one: relationships matter. I've said this several times already since I began. What kind of relationships do you have at work? What kind of relationships are you creating at work? What kind of connections are you building with your colleagues? What kind of connections are you building with your supervisors? What kind of relationships are you building with your subordinates? What connections do you have, or you don't have connections at all? I don't have friends at work. The office is not the place to have friends. Well, I'm not saying be friends with everybody, but at least be friendly. You don't have to be friends with everybody at work, but be friendly. You have to be friendly. Build genuine connections with your colleagues. Connect with them. You spend the most part of your day with these people. Come on. I mean, you leave your house before daylight if you live in Lagos, and you get home when the sun has gone down. You spend the most part of your day, in fact, the most part of your week with these people, and you do not think that is important, that you have genuine connections with them. So build genuine connections with your colleague, because the relationships you have at work are the currency that you spend. It is the connection that you have at work that is the currency that you spend. That is the currency that you spend in the workplace. That is the money that you spend. You don't have to, give people money at work. Just have good connections, genuine connections. Let them know that you genuinely care about them. Then focus on collaboration over competition. Don't compete unnecessarily. I always say the only person you should compete with is the person you were yesterday. If you compete with your colleague, you don't know what their goals are. So you're just going to put yourself on a race that you can never finish because you don't know where they're going. So instead of focusing on competing with your colleagues at work and trying to be better than them, why not try to be better than the person you were yesterday? And that means you have to set goals for yourself consistently. So instead of competing with your colleagues, focus on collaboration. Help each other to get better. Help each other to get the job done. That is why you were employed, to get the job done. And you know the interesting thing? People support the people that they trust and they like. It is the people that you trust and you like that you support. You don't support somebody you don't trust, somebody that you don't have a connection with, or somebody you don't like. Why would you support somebody you don't like? I mean, think about it. Why would you support somebody you don't like? So people support those they trust and like. And why will I trust you? Because you have shown me that you genuinely care about me. You have collaborated with me several times. You have helped me to get my work done. I have helped you to get your work done. You're not trying to sabotage me. You're not trying to look good so that I look bad. You're not trying to make me look bad to our line supervisor. You're not trying to throw me under the bus, right? You are collaborating with me. If you see that, okay, maybe I'm the weakest link on a project, you're trying to support me, you're trying to be the strength to my weak points, right? You genuinely care about me. Why won't I trust you? Why won't I like you? And if I trust and like you, I will definitely support you. So start building your network now. Start building your network now so that you have relationship currency to spend for your career. Start building your network so you have relationship currency to spend. Relationship is a currency. It is a currency. It is not every time that you need money to get whatever you want in the workplace or even in your industry or for your career. You can spend the currency of relationship. Somebody you know might know somebody that you don't know that has what you need to get done. So why don't you start building genuine connections with your colleagues? I mean, your colleague might know somebody that you don't know outside of your workplace that might help your career in so many ways. Why don't you start building those connections with your colleagues? Why don't you start focusing on collaboration over competition so that when the time comes, you can spend that relationship as a currency? You can leverage that relationship to your advantage. So remember that people support those they trust and like. So the admonition is that you start building your network now. Start building from entry level. Build those relationships the same way you pay attention to your friends, your friendships with outside of the workplace. Pay attention to your relationship with your colleagues at work. Pay attention to them. Be deliberate about those relationships. I mean, if it means remembering their birthdays, please do. If it means caring about their life outside of work, please do. Whatever it is that you can do or you know to do to build genuine connections with your colleagues, please do it. Start doing it now. Start building that your network so that you will have your relationship currency to spend when you need it. Takes me to the second reality that influence is sometimes, in fact, most of the time, superior to power. And that's why you see some people, they are just managers. They have power over you, but they don't have influence. What that means is that if they did not have power over you, if they told you to do anything, you will not do it. You have no respect for them at all. The only reason why you are doing what they are telling you to do is because they have authority over you and they can issue you a query. So if you take the authority they had over you from them, the power they had from them, they would be as good as nothing. Right? So my recommendation is strive for influence over power. In other words, build your influence even at the time, especially when you don't have any kind of authority or power, especially when you don't have any kind of influence. I mean, authority or power. So, office politics isn't just about power plays, right? It's about influence. It's about who can make people think or decide like this. That's why I keep talking about the security at the gate, the cleaner, the girl that brings you the tea. They don't necessarily have authority, but they can influence decisions because you don't know. The CEO might call them one day because they see everybody. They see you when you come in, they see the way you walk in, they see whether you come in late or you come in early, they see whether you leave the office during the day. They know what you are doing. They might not speak good English, they might not be as educated as you, but they see everything. And so they have influence. They can influence decisions. So you don't know whether your line supervisor is going to call them one day and say, "Hey, what do you think about this person?" And they will say the truth. I mean, they don't know why the person is asking. They will say it as it is. They're not going to sugarcoat it. They are not going to try to make you look good when you are bad. And they're not going to try to make you bad when you are good. Right? So you have to learn to influence decisions even without authority. So you don't have authority. You think, oh, it's only when I'm a deputy manager or an assistant manager or a manager that I can, I can begin to influence people. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. That is not correct. You don't have to have authority to influence decisions. You just need to be able to influence the people that are making the decisions. How do you do that? Genuine connections. We have said that earlier. Build genuine connections. Influence and take you farther than power ever will. Like those people that are managers. Once they step out of the office, like, especially the ones you don't like, if they greet you, you can decide not to answer. They cannot tell you to come back. Once you step out of the office, you have gone. If they call you, might decide not to pick the phone because they don't have influence. They just have power over you. They just have authority because they are your manager or your line supervisor. But if that same person has some influence over you, even if they call you at night, you would typically or ordinarily not want to pick those calls, but because they have influence over you, right? You will pick the phone. You want to know, this one that my guy is calling me at this time, there must be an issue. Hello, sir. Hello, ma. Hello, ma. Yes, ma. Okay. And whatever they need to get done, you will bring yourself to do it. That's because they have influence. It is not their authority over you that is working at that time. It is the influence that they have over you. So genuine connections are what you need to influence decisions. even when you don't have authority. Hmm? Even when you don't have authority. And then build credibility by becoming a trusted source of knowledge. Be that person that when everybody doesn't know what to do, yeah, the one they will call, let's go and ask Tumishi. Let's go and ask Bukola. She will know what to do. You might not be a manager. You might not even be a team lead. You might not even be a line supervisor. But you are the one that has the answers. You are the one that knows where to go and look. You might not even know the answer, but you know where to look. Okay, let's check this place. I think I saw it somewhere. Let's check this. Be that person. Be that person. When you are that person, you will have influence. People will just, they will just trust you. They will trust you. They will like you because takes me to the next thing. You are a problem solver. When they've thought about it and they've struggled, they don't know what to do. They say, let's go and talk to Oluwaseun. She'll know what to do. I'm sure she will know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Be that person. Be that person. It gives you influence, and influence can take you farther than power ever will. So don't say, oh, I'm going to wait till I'm made a manager or a deputy manager or an assistant general manager before. No, don't wait. Let that position or title just be an added, a value add to your influence that you already have. Let it not be the thing that you use to, get things done. And that's the reason why you become manipulative, because you don't have influence, you only have power. So you now be threatening people. If you don't do this, I'm going to issue you a query. If you don't do this, I'm going to report you. If you don't do this, I'm going to, because you don't have influence. The only reason you do is because you don't have influence. When you have influence, people will do things for you because they trust you. They will support you. They will support that thing that you want to achieve, that task, that project. They will support it. They will give it their all because they want you to succeed. So influence can take you farther than power ever will. So in all your gettings, get influence. Yes, look forward to being promoted. Work hard so that you can be promoted, so that you can rise through the ranks. But please make sure that you're building influence as you go along. Build influence, build genuine connections, build influence, build credibility. Be that person that they can trust to save them, to solve their problems, to, that person that will take them out of that quagmire. Be that person. Be that person. Reality check number 3 is that you have to be aware of the politics that is being played in your workplace. The politics in every workplace is different. It's not the same politics that they play in Nestle. Sorry, I'm just using names here. That they will play in Cadbury. It's not the same politics they will play in my law firm that they will play in another law firm, right? Because the cultures will be different. What you cannot do is to be unaware of the kind of politics that is being played in your workplace. So, how do you do that? You need to understand the dynamics of your workplace. What's the dynamic? Is it the people that actually have the titles that have power, or the people that nobody really knows anything about? There's some silent power players in the office that they don't really have title, but they are the ones that move things. Why? Because they have influence. So you have to know who holds informal power. What kind of influence does the security man have? Who does he have influence over? What kind of influence does my line supervisor have? What kind of influence does my colleague have in this workplace? So you have to read the room, pay attention to the dynamics of that organization or your workplace. Know who holds informal power. Be aware of the culture and the political landscape of your organization. There is a political landscape in your office. Oh. There is a landscape. You know how Nigeria has 6 geopolitical zones? Those kind of things exist in your office. Pay attention. If you pay attention very well, you will know what the structure is, how things are done, what is going on, how things move, right? The key is that you should be aware. It is not so that you become paranoid and you start acting, let me not talk to this person. Oh, let me not do this. No, let me not do that. Oh, let me not. No, that's not why I'm asking you to be aware. I'm just saying, no, don't say that it doesn't exist. Or I know this is our office, but we like ourselves too much. Or we're just a family. Hey, there's a culture, there's a political landscape in that place. If you pay attention and you take your time, you will find out that there is a landscape that's already there. There's a political structure in place already. Forget the organogram. Oh, yes, understand the organogram. Know who your line of reporting from your current position to the CEO. Know that one. That one is important. That is the formal one. But you see that informal organogram, that informal power structure, you must know it so that you know how to build your connection, so that you know how to build your influence, so that you know how to navigate that terrain, that political landscape effectively. And remember that the key is for you to be aware. It's not so that you become paranoid and you now start acting like, okay, I can't go here. I can't talk to this person. I need to be careful with the person. No, that's not the objective. The objective is that you should be aware. The objective here is that you do not bury your head in the sand like an ostrich and pretend that it doesn't exist. Oh, we're just good people here. Oh, everybody here is just nice. Oh, everybody here is just. That's not the objective. You need to be aware of the structure. You need to be aware of the culture. So when you just join an organization, don't think that, oh, it's the same culture you are coming from that you are going to adopt in that place. Their culture is different. The dynamics are different. So you have to pay attention. You have to understand what is the dynamics of this place. What is the informal power structure? What is the culture of this place? What is the political landscape of this place? Right? So that you know how to, build your influence within that workplace. Let me just say this before I go on. Why should you care about olive office politics? And I say this with all sense of responsibility. You should care because it is very critical for your growth within a workplace. As long as you're going to work with people, as long as you're going to be dealing with people, you need to care about office politics. And when I say care, I mean be aware of it, know the political landscape of the place you work, understand the company's culture, right? So that you can build the right type of influence and the right type of connections, right? And let me just explain this further. It helps you to get promoted because if you build the right type of influence, you can speak for your work to the right people. Hmm? You can make sure that the right people know about what you do, right? And it will help you to get job satisfaction because it will help you to influence the kind of decisions that are made about your career in that workplace and your overall work experience. Lastly, it's about having a say in how things are done in the place that you spend the most part of your day. You cannot afford to be silent in a place that you spend the best part of your day. The best part of your day for 5 days a week, sometimes even 6. or 7 for some people. So you can't afford to bury your head in the sand when you spend the most part of your life in that environment. You have to understand how the place works. You have to understand how the people work. You have to understand the dynamics. You have to understand the landscape so you can build the right type of influence that you can leverage for your own advantage. Because the truth of the matter is, if you do not care about politics, politics will still care about you. Somebody else's politics might just affect you. Maybe that's what's affecting you right now. Somebody else's politics. Because you are not playing it. You are pretending it doesn't exist. You are believing, you're telling yourself, convincing yourself that you don't need it. Your work will speak for you. Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I don't have to bother myself about this. But somebody else is playing the politics. Somebody else is building the influence. Somebody else has those genuine connections. Somebody else is making sure that their work is seen by the people that should know about it. Somebody else is making sure that the decisions that benefit them are being made by making sure that they have influence. They can influence those decisions. And, look, everybody's not going to get promoted. Everybody's not going to get the promotion they desire. Why? Because there's only limited space at the top. So if you are going to pretend that, oh, well, I just need to do my work. I just need to make sure I'm doing good work. And nobody knows about the work that you do. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows about you. You don't have any kind of influence in the workplace. You're not going to go far. Your career is going to be stunted. It's going to stagnate. You are not going to be happy in that place. And you are not going to have influence. People will not listen to you when you talk. People will not listen to you because you don't have influence. So if you don't care about politics, newsflash, politics will still care about you. So what are the winning strategies? What should you start to do differently? Number 1, build your brand. Oh my God, I wish somebody told me this like 10 years ago. I was just doing the work. I was not building my brand. Nobody knew me as a finance expert. I mean, I worked on major transactions. I trained in major government parastatals, but I was not building that brand. I was not building the brand of me as a finance expert. I wasn't doing that. I was not. So build your brand. Don't say, oh, we see some people say, especially professionals, so say those people on LinkedIn, they don't have work. That's why they can be posting every day. That's why they can be talking about what they do every day. They're not busy. Don't be too busy to not have a brand. Build your brand. Build your brand. And how do you start? You start from within the workplace. Build your brand. Your brand is your greatest asset. Define how you want to be seen and remembered. How do you want people to remember you when they think about you? What do you want them to think about? What should come to their mind when they think about you? Right now, when people think about you, what comes to their mind? Nothing? Oh, it's just a colleague. Build your brand. It is your greatest asset. Build it. Define how you want to be seen and remembered. Do you want to be the person that does great work and your work passes through all quality control? Like when you are sending out that document, they know, this Bukola did this. I don't need to look at it again. Is that you? Build your brand. Define how you want to be seen and remembered. If it is to be dressing well, let that be the brand that you want to build. Like they know you are sharp. When they want to send people out to go and represent the organization, let it be that they say, The person that dresses well all the time does not need to be called. Okay, make sure you bring a jacket today, or make sure you are dressed well today. That person, be that person. That anytime they need to go out to go and showcase the work of the company, anytime they need somebody to be the face of the company outside of the office, let it be you. They remember. Get me to Miche. I'm sure it's looking sharp. Steez 1000%. Composure 1,000,000%. Build your brand. It is your greatest asset. Define how you want to be seen and remembered. Then consistently deliver value. Don't just be the person that dress sharp the most. Do good work too. Don't just be the person, that can proofread, make sure the document is error-free, there's no grammatical error, do good work. Showcase your expertise. Talk about it. Nobody can promote you better than you. If you don't promote yourself, nobody else is going to promote you. Yeah, some people might promote you, but how long are they going to do it? So they'll leave themselves and start promoting you. Promote yourself. Showcase your expertise. Talk about what you are good at. Talk about it. Showcase it. Create a LinkedIn page. Talk about the work that you're doing. Nobody is going to know. They cannot read your minds. They are not in your office. They are not in your workplace. They don't know what you're doing. If you got invited to speak somewhere, let people know. Talk about it. I still struggle with that. But now I do it even when I don't feel like it. The other day I did a training for an organization and they sent me my report, right? And when I opened it, I was overwhelmed by my result because I kind of like cleared all the marks. It's like when you guys say I ate it all, I didn't leave any crumbs, right? So I felt like, oh my God, this is exceptional. Who do I share with? So I took it to my mentees group and I shared it, right? I said, see, they say your coach is super. So when I tell you I'm super, I am super like that. See, I took all the marks. I didn't leave any crumbs. Showcase your expertise. What have I done? I have not only agreed with myself that I actually got that result, I showed it to people. I gave them permission to share. So they can also go and share it and, just bragging rights that, yes, that's my coach. You see what we're talking about here? Showcase your expertise. Consistently deliver value and showcase your expertise. Showcase your expertise. Do not be sloppy about that. Be very intentional about how you present yourself. Today, when I was going to get ready for this, I said, what am I going to wear? Yes, I'm a lawyer, so on a good day, I should be wearing black and white and looking all serious. But I want to talk about something that's serious. But I want you guys to listen to me without, thinking that I'm just going to come and do a lot of dumping down on you. I want you to connect with me. So I said, you know what? I'm going to wear a t-shirt. It's a Saturday morning, anyways. I'm going to wear my denim jacket. So we're relaxed, but then I'm talking. I'm telling you what you need to hear. So as much as I'm trying to make this fun and very lively and exciting, I'm giving it to you the way you need to hear it. So be intentional about how you present yourself. How do you present yourself online? How do you write your name? Some of you confuse us. On LinkedIn, your name is ABC. On Instagram, it is CBA. On Facebook, it is BAC. Be intentional. How do you want to be remembered? So when they see me, so for me, once you see Bukola Shewolorotuga, you know it's the same person. Go to Facebook, that's my name. Go to Instagram, it's Coach BSU. Go to LinkedIn, it's Bukola Shewolorotuga. Put Bukola Shewolorotuga on Google, it is one picture you see. Same picture I use everywhere. Be intentional. Define it. If you don't define it, people will help you to define it. Define how you want to be seen and remembered. Consistently deliver value and showcase your expertise. Don't make yourself your best kept secret. It doesn't help you in any way. Be intentional about how you present yourself to the world. in your organization so that you can build the right type of influence that you need for your career. The second winning strategy is that be a problem solver. Be a problem solver. Be a problem solver. People gravitate towards people that can solve their problems. If you are going to add to my problems, I will run away from you. But if you consistently solve my problem or help me to find a solution to my problem, I will gravitate towards you. I will trust you. I will like you. I will support you. So be a problem solver. Look for ways to add value beyond your job description. Don't say, oh, this is what they're paying me for. This is all I'm going to do. Don't be that person. Add value beyond your job description. You see that something could be better, where maybe with your organization's logo, you can make recommendations. If you see there's something that could be done about your organization's marketing policy, make recommendations. Yes, that is not your job description. You are not in marketing. You are not in advertising. You are not in product management. But you see that something could be done better. Make recommendations. Be that person that solves problems. Solving problems gets you noticed. Solving problem gets you noticed. The reason a lot of people are popular today is because they have solved the problem. The reason Steve Jobs is popular today, even though he's dead, is because he solved the problem. He solved the problem of communication. He made it smart. He made communication smart. He gave us smartphones. Solve a problem. Be the person that solves problems in the office. Don't just do your work. Solve a problem. Be a problem solver. Solve people's problem. Help your colleagues to solve their problem. Provide solutions for them. Don't just complain. And what do you do with your problem solving skills? It helps you to build alliances, right? If you help me to solve a problem today, and then maybe next week I have another issue, you're quick to help me, you have an ally in me. I don't have to be your best friend, but I will always remember that you helped me to solve a problem in the past. So leverage your problem solving skills to build alliances in the workplace. Leverage it to build genuine connections. Leverage it to, create influence for yourself. Solve problems. Be a problem solver. Don't hoard information. If you know something that other people don't know, share it. Share information. Yes, information is now democratized, but maybe you perhaps have distilled that information further, right? To make it usable and digestible. Share it. Don't hoard it. Leverage it to build alliances. Leverage it to build influence. Solve problems. Solve problems. Problem solving gets you noticed. People who solve problems get noticed. People who solve problems get noticed. Winning strategy number 3, master emotional intelligence. So now you're very smart. You have book knowledge. You had a first class. You had a 2-1. You are very brilliant. But you see, you don't have emotional intelligence. Without emotional intelligence, you might just rubbish all the skills and the knowledge that you have, all your technical skills, without emotional intelligence. So you have to master it. And what do I mean by master it? Read the room. Read your workplace. And understand your spoken cues. Like, there's some unspoken rules in some organization. They don't need to be written down. They're not written down anywhere. But everybody just acts accordingly. It takes emotional intelligence to detect that, to know that there are some things that we don't say here. Or there's some ways we don't act here. It's not written anywhere. It's not in the employee's manual. It's not in your employment letter. It's not in your contract of employment. It's not anywhere. But they're unspoken. They're just there in the air. People just do it. It's become part of their culture. And the only way you're going to become aware of those things is if you're emotionally intelligent. You pay attention, you read the room, and you understand those cues, right? You understand it. Okay, this is how they speak to their superiors. Or they don't speak to their superiors like this. Or they don't speak to their subordinates like this. So those are the issues that you have to try to understand. The unspoken cues, the unspoken cues, the unspoken cues. Manage, read the room and understand the unspoken cues. Manage your emotions. Try to respond and don't react. There's a distinction between responding and reacting. When you respond, you have evaluated the situation. You're not giving a feedback immediately when something goes wrong. So maybe your colleague says something to you that you don't like, and you immediately say something. The situation might get heated, and everybody, people are now talking back to each other, and the atmosphere gets really, really tense because you reacted. But when you respond, the person has said something you don't like, or the person has done something you don't like, you don't say something immediately. You keep quiet. You try to understand where the person is coming from or why the person said what they said. And then you go back to respond. So you have to learn to manage your emotions in the workplace. Your workplace is not where you express yourself the way you feel all the time. Sometimes you're feeling really sad. You can't going around in the office with a sad face all the time. Like, people be like, what's wrong with this one? So sometimes you're not happy, but you have to keep a straight face. You have to smile, especially maybe you are the front desk officer. So you're the front desk officer and you had a very bad day at home. You don't get to the office and sit at the front desk and you're looking sad. My God, you're the first point of contact. You're going to transfer that energy to the person that you're speaking to, whether it's a client or a customer. You're going to transfer the emotion, the energy to the person. So you have to manage your emotions. You might have to, drop that sad feeling. It's not that's not what's the word now? That's not de-emphasizing how you feel or invalidating your feeling, or that I'm not saying that thing did not happen. I'm just saying that you don't want to bring that energy into the workplace, because if you do, it might become pervasive and everybody suddenly becomes sad because you brought it. You're the first point of contact. Or you bring you're angry, somebody just upsets you, and so you're boiling, you're angry, you want to vent, and then you transfer the aggression to your colleague. You have to be emotionally intelligent. You have to learn to manage your emotions. Yes, you are angry. Please go to the toilet and vent. You can go and scream in the toilet and shout, cry. Come back to the office, put a smile on your face, and and continue to do your work. You have to train yourself to respond instead of reacting. Reacting is almost spontaneous because you do it immediately. Like the person tells you, that's very stupid. And then you say, you don't talk to me like that. The situation can get escalated in no time. And everybody's asking what's going on there, what happened, who said what. But somebody said, oh, that's very stupid, and you just keep quiet. It doesn't mean you did not get hurt. It doesn't mean that the person said something nice. It doesn't invalidate the fact that that person, was way out of line. But you respond. You can have a conversation with the person later when you're much calmer, when you'll be able to choose your words wisely, when you're not going to descend into the to the level the person was at when he said what he said, right? So you'll be able to, you have evaluated the situation, you'd have identified the issue, so that when you're responding, you're focusing on the issue and you're not going personal. You are not attacking the person's personality. You are dealing with the issue. You are dealing with what the person said. You are dealing with what the person raised by what they said and not the person. Because when you react, you are most likely going to be attacking the person and not the issue that is the bone of contention. That's why you have to learn to manage your emotions and learn to respond and not react. I have reacted several times, and and when I, with hindsight, I'll be like, Bukola, you should have just waited. Maybe you should have just waited. You shouldn't have said anything immediately. When you give yourself time to respond, you are able to pick the best line of action, the right words. You will know what you are responding to. It will be easier not to attack the person that did you wrong and focus on the issue. But if you react immediately, you are most likely going to attack the personality of the person, and things would it escalate in no time. So you have to master emotional intelligence to thrive in office politics, because if you cannot manage those conflicts within the workplace, because you're going to have conflicts, you're not always going to agree with your colleague. You are not always going to agree with the way they work. I mean, you might have told them to give you something on a particular day and they don't submit. You will be angry, yes. But you have to react immediately. No. So you have to be able to manage your emotions so that even though you will deal with the issue, you people don't become enemies in the workplace. Your alliance is not affected. Your connection is not broken. You still want to maintain that alliance. You still want to maintain that connection, but deal with the issue. That is why you have to master emotional intelligence. And with strong emotional intelligence, you can navigate even the trickiest office politics. So learn to read the room, understand the unspoken cues, those things that people don't say, but they do. And you can just ask somebody, I say, that's just the way we do it here. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that's just the way we do it here. It's not in your employment letter. It's not in the staff handbook. It's not anywhere in the office. Even the CEO is doing it. It's not because it's written anywhere, but it's just what the people have decided to adopt as a culture or as a way of interaction with themselves. They manage your emotions and try to respond and not react whenever you have conflicts or have to deal with issues in the workplace. Then let's look at this. My final thoughts on office politics is that office politics can be your friend. It's not always evil, it's not always manipulative. It can be a good thing. It can be a tool for your growth as a professional if you know how to leverage it. So you can make it your friend. You can leverage it for growth within your organization and within your industry. If you know how to play it very well, you can leverage it. And, like I said before, whether you are playing it or not, the politics is being played. As long as there are people there, whether you believe it or not, there is politics going on wherever you are, that there are more than two people. So there is a politics going on wherever you are, and there are more than two people with you. So you can either choose to not play it, and the politics will play you because the others are playing it, and whatever the decisions they make will affect you one way or the other, right? So you have to be aware of it, not so that you become paranoid, but just so that you know the landscape, the dynamics, and how to build your own connections, your own alliances, and your own influence in that place. And that's the only way you can say it is your friend. because you understand the kind of politics that is played in your workplace. You understand the kind of dynamics at play. You understand the unspoken cues. You have the right type of connections. You have the right type of alliances. You have the right type of influence. So you're able to leverage it to your own advantage. Okay? So, office politics isn't something you should avoid. I wouldn't recommend it. I avoided it as an employee. I buried my head in the sand. I focused on doing just my work. I believed that my work would speak for me, but it didn't speak for me. I didn't have the right type of influence in the workplace. And when it was time for me to spend that currency, I didn't have it to spend because I had not I had not built it. I had not built that relationship currency. I didn't have the right type of alliances in the workplace, and I paid for it dearly. So it's not something you avoid. Don't just say, well, let me just do my work, let me mind my business. Yes, you can mind your business, but some people are minding your business for you. As they are minding their own business, they are minding your own. So who is going to mind your business for you if you don't mind your business for you? So you can't try to avoid it because it is there. You need to try to master it. And how do you master something you don't understand or you're not even aware of? So be aware of it. There's a politics going on in your workplace right now. Be aware of it. Try to understand it and try to master it. Build positive, genuine relationships. Relationships is key to succeed in office politics. It is the currency that you spend in the workplace. Understand the dynamics of your office, understand the dynamics of that company, and play the game smartly. See, I'm sure from everything have said, you see that you don't have to um, compromise your values. You don't have to become somebody that you're not. You don't have to become manipulative. Just focus on building the right type of relationships, positive alliances, genuine connections. Be a problem solver, speak about your work, play the game smartly. And remember, be strategic, be genuine, just be you, be authentic, be yourself. And remember that office politics can work for you. It doesn't have to always work against you. It can work for you if you are aware of it and you build the right type of relationship so that you can spend that currency when you need it the most. So, let me close with this. If you are ready to level up, I'm sure there are some of you that are already going through this. Like you, there was the times I had to deal with office politics in my career. I wish maybe there was a webinar like this. I wish I had a coach. I wish I had a mentor that I could trust. I wish I had somebody that understood it the way I understand it now. I wish I had somebody that could tell me, look, Bukola, it is what it is. Wherever people are, these things happen. You just need to understand how the place works, what the dynamics are, what the informal structure is, the informal power structure is, and how to build the right type of alliances, right? I wish somebody told me all of this. I wish I had somebody to do this. Like if somebody had done this, maybe I could have avoided some of the experiences I had. But then I say, I had them. And I'm grateful I had them because now I can share with you. I can share what I now know with you. I can talk about it the way I've spoken about it in over 1 hour. I can tell you that you don't want to avoid it. You don't want to pretend it doesn't exist. You are going to be doing yourself a great disservice if you do any of those. It exists. It is not just for manipulative people. Good people can play office politics. Good people can use office politics to their own advantage. Good people can leverage office politics to grow in their career. So that is the gospel I have come to preach to you today. And if you're ready to level up, I'm available to help you. And how do I help you? How do I help you? This is how I can help you. You can book a speed coaching session. Just visit https seller.co.ogak to schedule your speed coaching session. I'm giving 75% off from today till next week. I'm just being nice because I understand that a lot of people are going through this. They don't have anybody to talk to. And you know, your specific situation is, I'm sure, different from the next person. There's no one size fit all experience. Everybody's experiencing it in different ways. For some people, they've been dealing with it for years. For some people, they just started. So you're in different places in the experience trajectory. You are dealing with it in different ways. You have maybe reached some level in your experience of office politics. You might just be starting. You might be that person that has had enough, has had it up to here, and you're like, this is where it ends. I've given up. This is not working, right? I was at that point at some point in my career to like, I was like, God, this is not working. Take this cup away from me. You know what I mean? So you're at different levels. So because you showed up today, I'm willing to give 75% discount. I'm going to put this link in the description. So between now and the 5th of October, you can use the coupon code AYCG 7.0 to book your session, and we can talk about your specific situation and create a strategy that is bespoke to you, that can help you to navigate it and deal with it and come out, shining like a star, right? So thank you guys for showing up today. I hope you have learned something. I hope you have learned something. I hope I've not wasted your Saturday morning. I hope that you would leave this session and do things differently from now. You will go to work on Monday and begin to view yourself a little differently in the dynamics of your workplace, right? You begin to see the dynamics of your workplace a little bit differently. You're not going to go there and feel like, okay, everybody's against me. No, everybody's not against you. Everybody's just playing politics. Everybody's just being human because we are human beings. We were created for social interaction. And the way we interact socially is what is called politics. So you have to understand that that is what is going on in the workplace. The same way you interact in your family, you have been interacting with your friends, is the same way you have to find a way to get the best kind of results for yourself in the workplace. So let me leave you to go for your own one bears and your parties and your everything. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you, Mubo. I see you. Thank you, Toye. I see you. Tumishi, I see you. Oluwaseun, I see you. Sisi Caro, I see you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for spending your time with me this Saturday morning. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye for now. Right.